I know there's football tonight. Real Madrid are playing, is it the Champions League? So I know some of you will be watching the football. But I hope whoever you support wins tonight. So, how are you all? I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm doing a live on Don't Lose Your Temper, and I have 10 tips on how to not lose your temper. This will probably come in handy for the players that are playing tonight in the Real Madrid game. So, don't lose your temper. 10 tips. So, depending on if you have a temper, it can be quite destructive for some people. Their temper can be quite destructive, their temper can be quite consuming. Some people can have a really bad temper, and in the midst of losing their temper, they're unable to think of any consequences, and they just go ahead, lose their temper, say things they regret, do things they regret, and it pretty much can all end in tears. I used to have a really bad temper. I used to have a really bad temper, and I think I just grew out of it. Also, as well, as as I got older, I realized that there's always somebody better than you. So, you know, you you might be willing to lose your temper and go mad, but you can't predict where it will take you. So basically, if you lose your temper, that's fine. But if you're losing your temper with people, you don't know what the consequences are. Meaning, people may take things further than what you're willing to take it. So I think just as I got older and I matured, I just calmed down and I didn't have as much of a temper as before. Some people's tempers can be very destructive. It can be very consuming. Hi Fardeen and Wari, how are you? And happy Ramadan to people. Yeah, I think you are. So please like my live. But yeah, I think for now you are. Okay, that's good. Are you fasting? Okay, so as I was saying, today's about trying not to lose your temper. 10 tips on how to not lose your temper. I did used to have a temper, but I grew out of it because I realized that you can lose. Thank you for liking the live, Fadine. Yeah. So what I was saying is, if you lose your temper with people, you can't predict how far that person is willing to take it, and so you might be angry about something, but in your mind, you're only gonna get angry to a certain level. But if you're becoming angry with somebody else, they might decide to take the whole temper thing to, to levels that that you're not willing to take it to. So I think in America, they've got a phrase, and they say, "Oh, your mouth wrote a check that you know that you can't cash," meaning, oh, like you've been running your mouth, and now consequences are coming. You can't pay it. You can't pay the consequences. So that's an American saying that I've heard before. Basically, you can run your mouth to somebody, but if they're willing to take the consequences further than what you're willing to, you can't just say, "Oh no, hold on, like I didn't mean for it to get that mad, I was just a bit upset. Why are you so angry?" No, if you lose your temper with certain people, they're going to take it wherever they want to take it. So it's a really good idea to control your temper. That's fine, Fardine. Thank you for the like. And no need to apologize. Thank you for popping in. And I hope you join my live again another time. Thank you and have a great evening. Thanks, Fardine. Bye. So, the first tip in controlling your temper is think before you speak. Think before you speak. I don't think. Bye, Fardine. Take care. Bye. Okay. I don't always think before I speak. Okay. I don't always think before I speak. I'm human. Because sometimes you don't know what's going to trigger people. You know, sometimes you might say something and then, people just blow up, or, you realize that, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But you don't know at the time of saying it that it's going to trigger somebody. However, think before you speak. I, I don't know how people are going to do that, because I know I don't always think before I speak. Also, embrace a delay. So, those people that never rush into making statements, like they're just in conversation, they might not talk much and they're very measured, very calm, very cool, calm and collected, and you can tell they always think before they speak. So embrace delay. I don't always embrace a delay, to be fair. Um, and also encourage other people to do the same. So if things are getting heated, and say maybe you're having an argument, I believe that's when you are supposed to slow down and embrace a delay, think before you speak, and also give the other person room to pause. So don't try and goad people into saying things that they may not necessarily mean. So tip number one, think before you speak, embrace a delay, encourage others to do the same, or you may say or do something you might regret. Tip number two, once you're calm, okay, so you're not in the heat of the moment, once you're calm, express your concerns in a non confrontational way. So I guess that means don't shout your concerns, you know, just don't go off on people. So just try and stay calm when you communicate your concerns. I mean, I'm not able to do that. No, I don't speak Russian, graffiti maker. What languages do you speak? Yeah, so I'm not able to stay calm if I have concerns, but mm, my second tip is to stay calm when you express your concerns. Don't be confrontational. Um, Also, when you get angry, try not to say and do things that you know will hurt people. Sometimes when you get in that zone, like you're really angry, Lithuanian, English, and Russian. Okay, I've never been to Lithuania before. Um, the only parts of Eastern Europe I've been to are Czech Republic and Poland, but I haven't been to Lithuania, haven't been to Russia. Yeah, so okay. What's the main thing you like? What? A diet? Jay, come off my live. Come off my live. Because right now it looks like you're in a zone of stupidity. Um, but yeah, graffiti maker. Eastern Europe is really beautiful. It's got a lot of history, and I also like how clean it is out there. It was so clean when we went out there. It was really hot as well, and it was. Oh, Jay, don't worry, it's fine. Apology accepted. See, I'm not gonna lose my temper. That's what the live is about. Okay, so anyway, tip two. When if you feel yourself losing your temper, um, try not to say things that hurt other people, and try not to say things that you think can control them. Like try not to start manipulating people, because when we all get angry, we with people we know. We know what to say. We know what to say that will hurt them. Okay, like we know what kind of jabs are gonna land. Like with Jay, he knows his jab is probably gonna land. But thank you for liking the live. But yeah, that's the second one. Stay calm. But to be honest, if I'm about to lose my temper, if I'm upset, I can't stay calm. But that's my tip. Something we all need to work on, I guess. Tip number three, and Jay will like the sound of this. Tip number three: get some exercise. So, as some of you may know, I do go swimming on a regular basis, trying to lose weight, Um, and sometimes it can just be a way to vent. So if you're upset or if you just want to express your frustrations, you can do that through exercise, whether that be running or boxing or swimming or walking or cycling, skateboarding, it may be, or just any activity, roller skating, any type of activity. If you feel like you're going to lose your temper, or if you feel really frustrated, then you can do some exercise. Monday was a really tough day at work for me. Monday was crazy. Monday was a really bad day at work, and I'd already scheduled to go swimming on Monday evening. But because I had such a bad day on Monday, I thought I'm not going to go and swim. So I booked to go on Tuesday evening instead. And when I went to work on Tuesday, it was a really bad day as well on Tuesday. And I just remember thinking to myself, I definitely need to go swim tonight because yeah, work was just too much. So on the Tuesday, I went for the swim after work, and that really helped me. It really, really helped me. And so, exercising can be a way to express your frustration. It can be a way to express your anger, and it could just be a way to regulate your emotions. That could be boxing, skateboarding, swimming, running, walking, anything, just anything that increases your heart rate, any type of activity. Um, Tip number four in how not to lose your temper is to put yourself on a timeout. So some people may feel that putting anybody on a timeout is childish, and it may be childish. However, being on a timeout could just give you time to just slow your roll and just take time to think your actions through, and not just react, or do something that in the long run it could have repercussions that have long-term effects. And so you can put yourself on a timeout. Yes, it does sound childish, but it can actually help. Yesterday at work, I was getting quite frustrated, and I was starting to lose my temper with somebody, and I was we were talking to each other, and then before I know it, we were both shouting, and I don't even know how it escalated so quick. So, after I de-escalated and resolved that issue, I just had a moment by myself, um, just to just orientate myself, you know, um, reevaluate, reflect, just gather myself and then go back out again. So sometimes, where possible, if you can just put yourself on a timeout when you feel like you're getting close to the rage mark. Um, Tip number five in losing your temper, try not to lose your temper, is identify possible solutions. So I'm somebody that believes in focusing on solutions and not problems. You know, I used to know somebody, and well, I still know that person, my good friend, but she would always be like, "Don't come to me with problems. Don't come to me with problems. Come to me with solutions." And what she meant is, don't come and complain about stuff. You can come and complain about stuff, but come with answers, come with solutions. Think about how these problems can be addressed. So tip number 5 is identify possible solutions to the root cause of the drama. So that is a way for you to be a lot more positive about a situation that's possibly getting you down. It also makes you think differently. Some people are just negative. Some people just look for problems. You know, some people are just negative Nancy's. But if you're always trying to find solutions and you're trying to think of answers instead of questions, it will make you a more positive person. It will make you less likely to become anxious as well, because you're always trying to see the silver lining, and it will just make you more appealing to people, and it will just make people want to be around you more. You know, if you're known for being the person that's always, that isn't kind of swayed by problems or isn't always negative, if you're known for being positive, for trying to look for answers, the person that's always trying to find solutions, you'll probably, it'll probably be easier for you to make friends. People will probably be more likely to be around you. People might be more likely to invite you to stuff. And it's just a good way, it's just a good reputation to have when you're socializing. Right. Tip number 6. Let me know if you have any questions. Please put them in the chat. Today is about try not to lose your temper. But I must say, sometimes you do need to lose your temper. Like not all, obviously, not all the time, but sometimes you do need to lose your temper just to set down boundaries or to reinforce boundaries. But sometimes people need to be told, don't get yourself in trouble, don't put yourself in danger. But sometimes you do have to speak up, or sometimes you do have to look at what type of action you can take against in regards to a situation that can possibly be quite troubling for you. So tip number 6, stick with I statements. So if you're starting to get angry, if you're starting to get frustrated, try and stick with statements that talk about how you see things and how you feel. So if I say to somebody, "Oh, I feel really cold," there's nothing that they can say. They can't dispute that, because I'm talking about how I feel. I'm talking from my perspective. Sometimes during arguments, without realizing, we try and project to people how they should feel, or we try and project to people how they should see things, or we try and project onto people things they say, what they think, and that can escalate an argument. So if you find yourself losing your temper, just try and stick to how you feel, what you think, and what you do. No, 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 Patrick. Um. So 1 minute, guys. 1 minute, guys. Sorry. So tip number 6, sticking with I statements. Yeah, so you can't project onto people. And another tip is, don't say to people you always do this, or don't say you never do that. Saying always and saying never is not a good idea during an argument, because that is so absolute. How can you say to somebody, oh, you never do this, and how can you say to somebody, oh, you always do that? So just try to stick with how you feel, what you think, and how you see things. That's my other tip. Don't accuse people of stuff. Just speak from your perspective. Tip number 7. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat, or if you're not clear about any of the points. Feel free to let me know. If you've got any tips, you can put them in the chat also. The first tip in not losing your temper, try not to lose your temper, is think before you speak. I don't do that. I don't always think before I speak. Anyway, embrace the delay and encourage others to do the same. Otherwise, you could say or do things that you may regret. Number 2, once you're calm, just express your concerns in a non-confrontational manner. Basically, don't shout. But I mean, if you're upset, you're probably more likely to shout. But try not to. But I mean, we're only human. What can we do? Tip number 3: get some exercise. At J, hashtag J. Get some exercise where you can vent and take out your frustrations on the exercise you do. Exercise might be skipping, boxing, skateboarding, running, swimming, karate, walking, any type of exercise. You can use that exercise to vent and to take out your frustrations, and it will be productive because you'll be burning calories. Tip 4, you can put yourself on a timeout. Even though it does sound childish, sometimes, happy birthday, Liv. Is it today? Happy birthday. Hope you had a good one. What was I going to say? Yeah, you can put yourself on a timeout. You can just give yourself a timeout. Oh, you're welcome. Did you have a good birthday though? How was your birthday? Was it good? Live you live. And is your birthday just starting or is it ending? Depending on what time zone you're in. Yeah, so put yourself in a timeout where possible, if you have the capacity, if you have the space. Tip 5, identify possible solutions. Come with answers, not questions. And so some people can always criticize, some people can always talk about what's going wrong, about what needs to be done, what can be improved. But it's helpful if you can also think of solutions and not just come with questions. I have a friend that always says, come to me with answers, not questions. So it's just good to be able to be positive and look at a situation and see, think of outcomes that will benefit yourself. Hi, house. I'm talking about how to reduce the amount of times you lose your temper. Okay, so number 6, what I was saying is that it's good to speak from your perspective. So if you more talk about what you think, how you feel, what your perspectives are, instead of projecting to people and saying, "Oh, you always do this and you never do that." So just try to speak from your perspective. Don't try and manipulate other people in the argument. Don't try and control what you want them to think or feel. Tip number 7, try not to hold a grudge. Try and free yourself from past negative experiences with that person. So I find that if I have previous negative experiences with someone, I'm just more likely to lose my temper with them, to be honest with you. Or sometimes you just have triggers you don't realize you have. So it's kind of like PTSD. So people can say and do things, and then you just go off, you just explode, you're just angry, you're just, you just go OTT, over the top, because of what they've said or what they've done that reminds you of what somebody else has done or said. So try not to hold grudges. Free yourself from past negative experiences. But the fine line is that you want to learn from past experiences. So I'm not saying forget past experiences, because I don't think you should forget them. 100%, I think you should learn from them and move forward with the lessons learned. But what I'm saying is free yourself from the grudge of that experience, because that can trigger you and make you angrier than you need to be, if it happens again. Um, so, the next tip, number 8, is you can use, this is a tricky one, you can use humor to release tension. So you can use humor to release tension. But that's a tricky one, because if you're having an argument with somebody, if you're trying not to lose your temper, if you're just trying to de escalate and not escalate a disagreement, humor can backfire. Humor can backfire, especially if you have like dry humor, or if you're sarcastic. Um, yeah. But then humor can diffuse a lot of situations. Humor can just take the tension out of a lot of situations. Like humor can just I don't know. You'll need to use your own discretion. You'll need to yeah, you'll need to use your own discretion. Humor can be a good one, but humor can be a bad one, especially if you're in a professional setting. If you're in a professional setting, don't even try humor, to be honest. Don't risk it. Don't risk it for a biscuit. Right, so tip 9 is relaxation skills. Relaxation skills can be taking deep breaths and being mindful of your words, of your actions, of how you're coming across. So relaxation skills is probably mm, it's like if you're arguing with somebody, you're not just gonna, like, in the middle of the argument just go, you're not just gonna start taking deep breaths. So I think it's something you can do beforehand, or as you notice things going left, you can quickly go and find a space that you can do that, or it's something you can do afterwards to um to try and calm yourself. So relaxation skills is just more of a preventative measure if possible, or it's post argument. So 1 minute, guys, 1 minute. Okay, so so using relaxation techniques can be beforehand as a preventative measure, or afterwards post argument, so you can try and like not debrief, but try and relaxation skills can also be listening to music. It can be gaming. It can be reading, cooking, skateboarding, etc. So relaxation skills is just doing something that you enjoy, in order to calm your nerves. I think yeah, I think swimming and writing and reading and cooking. Yeah, I have a lot of relaxation techniques. Number 10, and what I think is the most important tip in learning how not to lose your temper. Number 10 is know when to get help. Know when to get help, because some people are beyond, some people are beyond 10 tips on a live. Some people need professional help or just need professional support, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you can identify you need help, that's very useful, and that's very self-aware. You know, there have been instances of when people have gotten into arguments while they were driving, and unfortunately there've been fatalities, in an accident or something, God forbid. But being able to control your anger is sometimes you may need a bit more support than what you can find informally. So yeah, if you know you have the, some people say that, okay, when I was young, when I was young and I had a really bad temper, in that moment, I would in that moment I would don't leave personal details, if because this is a public platform and other people may be able to get to, don't leave your emails or anything, because this is a live, and I wouldn't want people to contact you unsolicited. So don't leave any personal details behind, please. Right, what I was saying is know when to get help. So some people may need a bit more support to control their temper, especially when they may have an explosive temper. You know, some people, when they lose their temper, it's just like nothing else matters. You know, sometimes you can lose that temper and nothing else matters. It's like it's like you're in a tunnel. You can't hear anything, you can't see anything. There's lots of things that people have done. Okay, good. I just want everybody to be safe and protected in my life. But please like my life. I'd appreciate that. Yeah. So some people that have that are facing some consequences, you know, it's like what's that thing called? Um, but anyway, it's like, thank you for liking my live, High House. I really appreciate it. But it's like there's some people in a split second, they've made a decision, they've said something, or they've done something, and it's just led them to lifelong consequences that's irreversible. And so, you know, thank you. So if you know you have a destructive temper, do seek support, do seek professional help, and get, yeah, and just get healing, just get, just find the tools, just, become equipped to manage your temperament, because it can be so destructive, and, not just to yourself, but to other people. Yeah, some people, when they get angry, they 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 can't see anything, they can't hear anything. Some people, when, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, there's been times I've gotten so angry, things have either slowed down or things have either sped up, and nothing else matters apart from that one stupid, conflict. And it's never worth it in the long run. It's just never worth it. Sometimes, well, I think I don't know, like, say if you're at work and you're involved in a conflict or a fallout, it's not worth you losing your job. unless you want to make it formal and go to HR and take things to that level, and take things um to that level. Um, Sorry. Yeah. So unless you are, what was I gonna say? What was I saying? Basically, it's not worth. There's so many things in life. It's just not worth losing your temper over. And if you do need support, I advise that you do seek it. There are tools that people can equip you with to help as coping mechanisms to help you, overcome your temper, your temperament. Um, I think some, I think some people feel things quite intensely, and they can go from one extreme to the other. So one moment, they're really happy, and then they're really angry, and then they're really sad, and then they're really generous, and then they're really committed, then they're really lazy, and then there's just some people that always go to the extreme of their emotions, and that includes anger. However, if you're I might be wrong, but from my observations, if you get super angry a lot, you can end up manipulating people because they're afraid of upsetting you. They're afraid of making you angry. They don't want to get on your wrong side. That yeah, that's true, high house. Anger like that is usually a build up. Yeah, that sometimes because some people, they can just go from 0 to 10 in like 0.5 seconds. Some people just can get angry real quick. So it's like 1 minute they're cool, you're having a good time, you're laughing, maybe you've all, you're just out, maybe you're at a picnic with your friends, everyone's cool, nice atmosphere, everyone's chatting, laughing, and somebody be like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You're like, ooh, they just explode. And it's harder to avoid those kinds of people because when you see Moody Lucy, you kind of know that she's usually miserable and she's a hothead and all the rest of it. But when it's somebody that can just switch in the middle of everything, that can be that can be quite scary, especially if you trigger them. Like I used to have a good friend that was like that, and in the end I distanced myself because you're always on otherwise you're always on eggshells. But this is across the board. This is something that men and women deal with. Both men and women deal with this. But what I would say is, 100%, if you do feel you need support with your temper, then definitely reach out for professional help. I personally think that sometimes you do need to lose your temper. Like sometimes you do need to put down boundaries, and I don't mean getting out of control, but perhaps just asserting yourself and communicating yourself with people and letting them know that you're not happy with this situation and that situation. Like, work on Monday was a nightmare. Work on a Monday was a nightmare. And because you're at work, you want to stay professional, so you can't wild out because you're at work. And I had to communicate how unhappy I was um, in a positive way. I'm at work. I'm not gonna, you know. But I did sulk for a bit. At lunchtime, I was sulking. I didn't talk to anybody. I was just sulking in my room. Um, but when I was young, there's a possibility may have walked out and just left the job, like just walked away and just not gone back. You know, I could imagine doing something like that when I was young, just walking out and not just not going back, like just quitting at lunchtime kind of thing. So I can definitely see self growth in the way I deal with situations now. I'm able to communicate and I'm able to remove myself from a situation that could possibly escalate. Oh, another factor as well in losing your temper is sometimes it's because you haven't had enough sleep, or maybe you're angry, or should we say hangry. So if you know you haven't had much sleep, and if you know that you're hungry, you know, or you're stressed about other things, if you were to eat also, okay, describe to each other. Okay, so this is about not getting angry. So yeah. So today's topic is about not getting angry. So I'm not gonna get angry at I'm not gonna get angry, but yeah. So also as well, what I will say is, you know, life, like it's good to enjoy the richness of life. I feel like you know, like you get seasons. You've got autumn, like fall. In some countries they say fall. You got autumn, you got summer, you got spring, you got winter. You know, you got seasons in life. I feel like with emotions, like it's good to just feel a range of emotions, you know? Like I don't think there's anything wrong with being angry. I don't think there's anything wrong to lose your temper. I think it's good sometimes just to put things out there and say how you feel and, you know, take it from there rather than bottle it up and do silent treatment. But everybody has different temperaments. So I think in life it's good to go through different ranges of emotions and, you know, just to, everybody's got their own personality. Everybody, see you later, High House. Thank you for the like. But yeah, you know, like everybody's got okay, so so Real Madrid are playing today, yeah, for Champions League. You know, like during that whole game, you know the emotions people are gonna be going through. You know the emotions people are gonna go through in those 90 minutes or more, possibly extra time. Who knows? But it's just life going through that range of emotions, and like sometimes, you know, it's just part of being alive, and you know, just have, you know, you can feel happy, sad, scared, miserable, curious, you know, just there's so many different emotions you can feel in life, which is why it's good to have lots of different experiences, travel if you can, make new friends, do different things, find a hobby. So it's good to go through the different ranges of emotions in life, and you feel so alive. But ultimately, we shouldn't get tricked out of our positions. Yeah, so we should stay in our lane. Like we shouldn't allow our emotions and events and situations to cause us harm or to cause harm to other people. So we have to regulate. Well, do we have to regulate our emotions? Okay, so where appropriate, we need to regulate our emotions. Not all the time, but you know, when requ- when required, we need to regulate our emotions, our responses, our reactions, you know, and different things. And you know, that's just the beauty of life. And we all have such different personalities, you know. We all have different personalities. And another thing as well, another tip in try not to lose your temper is, you know, there's some things that wind us up that people have no control over, you know, but like, say, some people hate it when people smack gum, yeah, when they smack chewing gum. Some people hate it. Do you know what I mean? And some people enjoy doing that. Some people enjoy smacking their gum. But what's the point in getting angry at something like that? It can be annoying, but it's not something to lose your temper about. Do you know what I mean? So we also have to prioritize when we get angry, when we lose our temper. Is it necessary? Am I overreacting? You know, am I possibly reacting to this in this instance, but deep down I'm reacting to something else. So I'm responding in I'm responding. Hold on. Sorry guys, sorry. I wrote this down earlier. Right, right. So my lack of emotional control is impacting somebody's positivity, self esteem, self confidence, self perception. So my lack of control is having a is having a destructive impact on others or on myself. So it's great to feel emotion. I mean, I wish you guys would feedback in the chat because I just feel like some of the things I'm saying is not making sense. But anyway, so what I'm saying is it's great to feel different emotions. Um, you know, when you're at work, be professional. Um, put down your boundaries. Definitely put down boundaries. You know, people need to know what your boundaries are, and sometimes they already know what the boundaries are, but you need to reinforce it. And also, what the Americans like to say is don't let your mouth write a check that you can't cash. Meaning, don't try and bad people up, yeah, because there's always somebody better than you. So if you start something and then people want to take it there, there's nothing you can do because you're not in control of how other people respond. So if you're going to start on someone and they just take it way they just take it way left, you don't have the right to try and cap how they respond. Basically, if you're going to lose your temper with people, know what you're doing because you don't know how far they're going to take it. And it's never worth it. It's never worth it. Okay? Also, as well, actually, on the last point, on the last point, for some people, losing their temper, becoming angry, actually motivates them. And so, say if somebody's playing a football, um, what's the score, by the way? Real Madrid and 1 minute. Okay, so Real Madrid have scored one, and somebody on the other team is gonna get angry and just hopefully start banging in the goals. And so my point is sometimes losing your temper. So Real Madrid have scored one. I can't say that. What? Okay, sorry. So Real Madrid are losing at the moment, basically, from the commentator, from the on-site commentator. Real Madrid are losing. Okay, so somebody on that other team is gonna have to get angry. Somebody on the other team may get angry, but their anger might power them into scoring goals. So sometimes losing your temper can be it can propel you into doing something useful or positive. For some people, if their team is getting scored on, they might just become a shell and you can actually see them like give up. But for other people, if their team gets scored on, that is motivating for them to start scoring goals because because of that anger, because of that passion. So I hope you've enjoyed my live today.